Hello, one and all. This is continuation to the previous lecture, Introduction to JDBC. So, in that lecture, what he has studied means how we can connect a Java program to a database, and after connecting a Java program to the database, we have issued the SQL queries to the database, and we have retrieved the results. There are mainly 4 steps. First step is registering of the driver. Second step is connecting to the database. Third step is issuing SQL statements or queries to the database from your Java application. Fourth step is retrieving the results. So these are the steps that are involved while you want to connect your Java program with a database. So I will continue that session. I will continue. So our next topic in JDBC is metadata and prepared statements. So JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. So what is metadata? The name itself, metadata means it is data about the data. So whenever if you want to know some additional information regarding the data, then we will be calling it as metadata, data about data, information about the data. For example, I am using the Oracle database. If I want to know some information regarding the database that I am using, for example, what is the database name? What are the column names of the table? What are the different data types supported by the database? For all things, we can use metadata. So whenever I want to know information regarding the database, since I need to know the information regarding the database, it is called as database metadata. Information regarding the database, information regarding already existing database. It is data about data. So you can retrieve the information regarding the database by using the method connections get data matter. Connections get data get metadata. Connection objects get metadata can be used to return a database metadata object. So connection, if I write connection.get metadata, it returns a reference to database metadata. Then using the database metadata object, I can use all these methods. These are the methods available in database metadata. Get columns, get a description of the columns. Get database product name, what is the name of the database product. Get a driver name, used to retrieve the JDBC driver name. Supports alter table with add columns. It will return a boolean value whether it supports alter table with add column. Supports full outer joins, whether it supports outer joins or not, like that. These are some of the methods available with database metadata object. So as already indicated, using connection object get metadata, it returns a reference to database metadata. So once after establishing the connection, if you write connection.get metadata, it returns a reference to database metadata. So database metadata, some object equal to con.get metadata. Then using this dbmt object, I can get information regarding the database. For example, database empty.get URL returns the URL of the JDBC driver. Similarly, get SQL keywords. What are the different SQL keywords supported by my database? It will return a comma separated values of all the SQL keywords that are there in SQL. Whether your database supports transactions or not, support transactions. Supports select for update. So these are the some of the methods. Say for example, I have already the code. So I'll just put these statements. See the highlighted code. See already these things, whenever you want to connect to a database, first you need to register a driver. So registration of the driver can be using this class.forName. Then you need to establish a connection with the database. You know already these steps. So now I want to get the information regarding my database. So for that you can use the connection objects get metadata. So I used con.get get metadata. So con .get metadata, it is used to retrieve the information regarding the database. So I'm storing in the dbmd object. Now I can write dbmd.get URL. So what it returns means it returns the URL of the database URL. So it retrieves this database URL. So get URL retrieves the database URL. So this is called as a database URL. This is formulating a database URL followed by username and password of Oracle database. Get SQL keywords. Which keywords are supported by your database? Whether your DBMS supports transactions or not. Whether your DBMS selects for update, whether select for update is supported by DBMS or not. So I'm storing get URL, it returns a string, I'm storing in string S1, get SQL words, it also returns a comma separated of all the SQL keywords, I'm storing in S2. These two return Boolean value, I'm storing in Boolean value. Just I am printing those values, S1, S2, B1 and B2. Now I will try to execute this program. So I'll execute this program. I'll try to change the font size. Font. I'll make it as 10:18. Okay. So first I'll compile the program Java space JDBC demo.java. I'll execute. See, it is saying driver loaded connected to database. Later it is giving the URL. URL is JDBC column, Oracle column, thin column, @ localhost column, 151 column, AC. XE. XE is the service name of the Oracle identifier and 152 is the port number in which it listens to the JDBC calls on that port number and then translates the JDBC calls into database specific calls. So this is the database formatting URL that can be retrieved by using get URL method. Then I have retrieved the SQL keywords as a string. So SQL keywords are displayed here. These are all the keywords available in SQL. It gives a comma separated of list of keywords. Remaining to our Boolean values. So this database, Oracle database, supports transactions. It selects. It also supports select for update. This is how you can use the database metadata. So this is database metadata. Some information regarding the database. So database metadata, information regarding the database can be retrieved by using connections get metadata. And some of the methods are these methods: get URL, get SQL keywords, supports transactions, like that. So next, so like that you can retrieve the information regarding the database. Next kind of metadata available is result set metadata. So database metadata is information regarding the database. Similarly, result set metadata returns an object or returns the data regarding a result set. You already know a result set is a logical entity that stores all the rows and columns of a table in a database. Whenever I will be issuing the SQL query, select statement. Whenever I issue the select statement, select star from table name, actually select star from table name in database retrieves a set of rows and columns. The set of rows and columns can be stored in your Java application by using this result set object. For example, I want to know how many columns are there. What is the column name? What is the column type of the retrieved table? Then I can use result set metadata. There's information regarding the result set object. So result set metadata can be retrieved by using result sets get metadata. Since it is a metadata regarding the result set, if I write result set dot get metadata, it retrieves the metadata regarding the result set that couldn't be stored in result set metadata object. That is, using result set metadata, you can retrieve number of columns in the result set. So how many columns are there in a table? Now, what is the column type? What is the column name? Whenever I want to retrieve the information regarding the result set, result set retrieves a set of rows and columns. For example, students table is there. It has name, roll number, and email ID. So column names retrieves those three entities. Number of columns is 3. Column type. For example, column type we have used varchar2 for name and email ID. The column type for varchar2 is 12. For number it is 2. That column type again it returns an integer value. For every data type there is some integer value that is given in the table in the later slide. So this is how you can get a metadata regarding the result set. Result set metadata RSMD equal to result set dot get metadata. So it gets the metadata or it gets the data regarding the result set. So for example, I want to know how many columns are there. Then there is a method called as get column count. Get column count retrieves how many columns are there in the result set. For example, in our students table case, there are 3 columns. So always remember the get column names or get column ID or get column type, get column name and get column type. The value is, it starts from 1, not from 0. So if you give here 0 here, it will return an SQL exception. The column names always start from 1. So you have to use for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to rsmd dot get column count, that is I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. Get column name of fun, first column name, student name. Second column name, it is roll number. Third column name, email ID. Like that, it will return the results. So similarly, column type returns an integer value. It returns some values from 1 to some values are there. 2 for number type, 12 for varchar2, like that. That is listed in the table. See, these are the types that I have told you. See, for example, for number, the return type is 2. For varchar2, the return type is 12. That is the column type. That is the return type. For number, it returns column type as 2. For varchar2, it returns column type as 12. So before moving on, I will execute the code that illustrates result set metadata. I will put this database metadata in comments. Now I want to retrieve the information regarding the student table. So after establishing the connection, after creating the statement using result set, what you need to do means, for example, result set is used to retrieve the information from a table. That is in case of select statement. Select statement retrieves the data in form of rows and columns. That is there in result set. For example, select star from students. It returns information regarding the students table. For example, the information in my student table is there is a name column, roll number column, and email ID. To know how many columns are there, there is a method called as get column count. To know what are the names of each column, get column name. Get column name of 1 retrieves name. Get column name of 2 retrieves roll number. Get column name of 3 retrieves email ID. Get column count retrieves 3. So I can use a for loop. Using that for loop, I can retrieve the get column name, get column type, and similarly I can display the data as well. So how will you get that result set metadata means get metadata method of result set. So I want to get the metadata regarding the result set. So I'll be using rs dot get metadata. Rs dot get metadata means get metadata regarding the result set. Retrieve the information regarding the result set. So to know the number of columns, there is a method called as get column count. So RSMD, that is metadata regarding result set, get column count retrieves the number of columns. So now in my case, in students table, now CC contains 3. So for int I equal to 1, always I have told you the indices values of the metadata or column names starts from 1. So for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. System.out.print rsmd dot get column name. Get column name, what it retrieves means it retrieves the column names. rsmd dot get column type. Get column type, it retrieves the column type. I'll execute that code. Then you will understand. So I will compile the same program, Java JDBC demo. So what now it will print means it will print the column names and their types for the student table. See, name, it is of type varchar2, so column type is 12. Roll number is the second column name, its type is 2. Email ID is the third column name, it is varchar2, so its type is 3. Its type is 12. So that is what result set metadata returns. So it is used to retrieve column names and their types. Similarly, the result set metadata can be used to print the data as well. See, for example, morning, how we have printed in the last lecture, how I have printed the data means using rs dot get string of fun, rs dot get int of 2, instead of printing when I don't know in prior how many columns are there, then I can use this result set metadata. So already whenever you need to process the result set, first you need to check whether there is any data or not. So without checking whether rows are there in your result set or not, if you try to process, you'll get an SQL exception. So always you have to check first whether there are rows or not using while of rs.next. While of rs.next checks whether there are any rows in the result set or not. So once checking whether rows are available or not, then you need to process. So morning, without using for loop, directly I wrote in the last lecture system.out.print rs.get int of 1, rs.get string of 2, like that. So now I will be using the column count. For int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to cc, I plus plus, rs.get string of 1 retrieves first column value, rs.get string of 2, second column value, rs.get string of 3, third column value. So I'll execute the program. See, now the data is being displayed in my table. Actually, there is only one value. I need to commit it. Again, I will execute. See, there is only one value. The data is being displayed without using without the need to mention every column name like rs.get string of 1, rs.get int of 2. When I don't know in prior how many columns are there, then I need to use result sets get metadata. So get column count knows how many columns are there. So rs.get string of 5, get string of 1, first column value, get string of 2, second column value, get string of 3, third column value. Like that, I can use the result set metadata to print the types of the columns, to print the column names along with the data that is there in the table. Simple thing, rs.get metadata. Result set get metadata retrieves metadata regarding a result set. Its get column name retrieves the column name, get column type retrieves the type of the column as an integer value. Similarly, result sets get string, this already you know that we have discussed in the last lecture. rs.get string is used to retrieve the data that is there in a table. So next topic is mapping database types to Java types. So how will you map between a Java data type and a SQL data type? So for example, I want to map from SQL data type. These are the SQL data types given on the first column. Second is simple mappable, that is using primitive data types mappings. Third one is using object mapping. So date in SQL can be retrieved by using java.sql.date. So a time in SQL can be mapped using Java using java.sql.time. So on. Bit in SQL data is equivalent to Boolean in Java. Tiny int is equal to byte. Integer in SQL data type is equivalent to int in Java. Like that, I can provide the mapping between the data available in SQL to Java. For example, consider date is there in a database table. While retrieving it, the date using select query, then I need to store that retrieve data in java.sql.date. That is how the mapping functions. For example, if I try to retrieve big int value from the SQL data type. From the SQL, the data type is big int. Then in my Java program, I need to store it in long. So that is between mapping data types from SQL to the Java application. Now coming to the prepared statement. So in the previous session, we have seen, I have told you there are three variations of statement object. So statement interface has three variations: normal statement that we have used till now, prepared statement, and callable statement. So way in general, most of Java applications, they prefer prepared statement compared to normal statement. So prepared statement, it is used to execute pre-compiled SQL queries. Prepared statement, the name itself indicates the statements are already prepared and ready to be executed by the SQL engine. Pre-compiled SQL statements can be executed by Java application using prepared statement. So what is a pre-compiled SQL statement or pre-compiled SQL query means? For example, whenever you want to execute a same statement multiple number of times. For example, I want to insert 5 rows. So whenever I want to insert or execute the same query multiple number of times from the Java application, instead of using statement object, if we execute all those 5 SQL queries using prepared statement, it improves the efficiency. Why? Because prepared statement makes use of pre-compiled SQL queries. That is, for the first time when a query is executed, actually the query when sent to the database, it compiles the query. After compiling the query, what this pre-compiled statements do means they prepare a execution plan. So for every query, the database, they will have a plan regarding how to execute, from where to retrieve the data, where to store the data. Like this, there will be a plan. For every query, there will be a plan, and that plan will be stored with an ID. So what this prepared statement does is it makes use of that plan ID. So for example, consider for the first time I issued an insert statement. So what your database does is that database prepares a plan for executing that insert query and stores to execute that insert query with an ID. For the next time when the same insert query moves to the database, is sent to the database, it does not compiles the query and directly executes that insert query with the plan already existed. So hence these are called as pre-compiled SQL queries. Pre-compiled means that query is already compiled, no need to compile it again, and directly it can be executed. Whereas if you execute a query or if you send a query using normal statement, it doesn't make use of this execution plan IDs of the queries. So your databases are efficient in storing the execution plan IDs for the queries. Your statement doesn't make use of those execution plan IDs. Whereas these prepared statements can make use of those stored plan IDs, and the next time when the same query is sent, the query will not be compiled, but it will be directly executed. Hence, these are called as pre-compiled SQL queries. Pre-compiled means the query is already compiled, no need to compile it. It can be directly executed with a plan where the plan already exists with a specific ID. So pre-compiled SQL queries are called as can be executed using prepared statement. Pre-compiled SQL queries. That means pre-compiled. That means the SQL queries are already compiled. You can directly execute. So prepared statement improves the efficiency when you want to execute the same query multiple number of times. That is the first use. Second use is whenever your query contains more number of parameters. Parameter means whatever input you will be sending from application to the database. For example, I'll write select star from table name where some ID equal to some value. Here the queries are table name and ID value. So like that, if your query contains multiple parameters, it is suggestible to use prepared statement compared to the normal statement. These are the two advantages of prepared statement. So which statements are more efficient means prepared statement. Prepared statement executes much faster compared to the normal statement. These are two uses. When you want to execute the same query multiple number of times, it improves the efficiency. Improves the efficiency means the execution time will be much faster. It reduces the execution time. Second thing is, when there are multiple number of parameters for a query, when there are more number of parameters for a query, it is suggestible to use prepared statement. So this is the syntax to create a prepared statement. So instead of using the normal statement, use prepared statement, some object equal to con dot prepare statement. So connections prepare statement. So actually, if you observe in prepared statement, you can directly pass the SQL query while preparing the statement. That is the main advantage. Whereas for normal statement, you need to pass the query via a statement object. But in prepared statement, you can directly pass the statement via connection object. So normal statement you wrote, statement stmt equal to con dot create statement. Next step, via the statement object, you need to send the SQL queries. Whereas in prepared statements, since these are already pre-compiled, the queries can be directly sent via the connection objects prepared statement. So connection objects direct prepared statement. That is the statement. The SQL queries can be passed during the creation of the prepared statement interface itself. These are pre-compiled SQL queries. As you can observe, here you need not pass any values. These are called as placeholders or parameters. These parameters can be passed during the execution of your Java program because these are already pre-compiled. For example, select some supervisor name from student where ID equal to placeholder. So this is how we'll create a prepare statement. So remember, these are the placeholders. These placeholders are nothing but the parameters. These parameter values can be supplied during the runtime, during the execution of a Java program by using set methods. So for example, this is placeholder 1, this is placeholder 2. So these are called as placeholders. Placeholders value starts from 1 to so on. If you have more number of the parameters or more number of placeholders, it is suggestible to use prepare statement. So the values of placeholders can be set by using set methods. Set methods of index value comma value. Index value starts from 1 to so on. So you can execute the query using execute query in case of select statement, execute update in case of DML statements like update, drop. For DML or DDL statements, you will be using execute update. Only for select, you will be using execute query. For either of the purpose, you can use execute. Finally, you need to close a prepared statement. So now I'll illustrate a program that illustrates prepared statement. So this is a program that illustrates prepared statement. Same steps. First, you need to register the driver or load the JDBC driver. Next, you need to establish connect with the database. Once those two steps are over, you can send SQL statements. Instead of issuing normal statements, I will be using pre-compiled SQL queries. So pre-compiled SQL queries can be sent directly by using the connection object prepare statement method. So this is the statement that sends a pre-compiled SQL query. Pre-compiled SQL query can be passed by using same insert into table name space values, 3 placeholders. Why? Because my student table has 3 columns. So first column, that is name, second column roll number, third column email ID. So con dot prepare statement of insert into. Now I need to set those values. Now I can set those values during runtime. See here I took the static values, but you can read these values from the keyboard and insert. Morning in the last class I told you how to take the input from the keyboard and you can insert the details into the database. You need to use scanner class. To read a string you can use scanner's next method. To read an integer you can use next int method. So ps.set string. So now I need to supply the parameters to these placeholders. So there are totally 3 placeholders. So ps.set set string. Since first is a name which is of varchar, that is of string type, so set string of 1 comma some new data I want to insert. Second one is an integer type. Second one is roll number, if it is of integer type, so we have to use setInt, ps.setInt of 2 comma some value. Similarly, third value, ps.setString of 3 comma some value. Then you need to execute. You can use execute or you can use execute update. Either query you can use. Execute update is used for DML statements or DDL statements except the select query. Execute can be used for either DML, DDL or select query. So ps.execute update, then one row gets inserted. When I want to insert another row, so in previous case, what you need to do means, if you don't use prepared statement, again you need to write this query, insert into values, which values you want to insert. But the main advantage of prepared statement is, since here the query is already pre-compiled, it has an execution plan. Using that execution plan, next time when the same query is sent, it will be executed directly. So second time, whenever you want to insert one more row, instead of again issuing the statement, you can directly pass the values to this placeholders. You can directly pass the values to this query strings. So for the second insertion, what I can do means directly ps dot set string of 1 comma abc, same statements again repeated. Again, no need to issue the query. Why? Because it is already pre-compiled. That is, the query is already compiled and can be directly executed. Again, ps.execute. Not only for insert, you can use prepared statement for any query. Simple thing is, you need to use placeholders. For example, here what I am doing means, I am updating the students table whose email ID is equal to the roll number. So I'll execute it later. So first, what will I do means, so first I'll execute. Now my database contains actually how many rows? It contains only one row. Now I'm inserting two more rows, which are passed via the prepared statement. Prepared statement main advantage is you need not issue the same query multiple number of times. Whenever you want to execute the same query multiple number of times, for example, I want to insert more than one row, it is suggestible to use prepared statement. Why? Because you need not issue a fresh SQL statement every time. It is pre-compiled. So now I'll save it. I'll compile the program. Java C space JDBC demo 1. I'll execute it. It is saying one row inserted. Now I'll check the database. See, two rows I have inserted, Ramu and ABC. See, Ramu and ABC, the rows are inserted. The rows are inserted. Now I want to check, see, those two rows are inserted. Now, for example, I want to update the email ID of particular roll number or by using the name. For that, I need to use update. Since I want to update the data, I need to use the update query. See, I want to change from ABC to ABC123. For example, I want to change the email ID. So for that, you need to use, for that, now I'll put so now I'll put these statements in comments. No problem. If it is there, multiple data will be inserted. I'll put in comments. Here I will write. So now what I need to do means I need to update. So update table name, students table, set email ID. I want to set the email ID some value where roll number is passed. So this is how you can issue the pre-compiled SQL query. There are only two placeholders. There are two query strings. There are only two parameters. How will you supply the parameters means? How will you supply the parameters means? It is changing so many times. I don't know why. So now I will save this program. Same statement, conduct prepared statement. Now I have used the update statement. So ps dot set string of, first one is I want to set the email ID. So that one. Second statement is ps dot set int of, for example, I want to set this email ID whose roll number is 1214. So 1214. Now I'll save the program. So initially his email ID is ABC. Now it will be changed to abc123.com. I'll save it. If I want, I can print one row updated. I can print one row updated. One row updated. So I'll save the program. I'll compile it. Execute it. So it is saying one row updated. I will check database. See, ABC email ID changed from ABC to abc123@gmail.com. This is how you can use precompiled SQL queries. Precompiled SQL queries can be executed by using prepared statement. Whenever you want to execute the same statement multiple number of times, for example, I want to insert multiple rows. I want to update multiple rows. Instead of using normal statement, you can use precompiled SQL queries. That is, precompiled SQL queries can be executed by using prepared statement. In precompiled SQL queries, the SQL statement can be passed immediately as a part of connections prepared statement. But whereas in statement it is passed, the SQL queries are passed via the statement object. Here the SQL query can be passed as and when the connection is established. Why? Because these are already precompiled and can be executed directly. So they improve the efficiency. This is how you'll execute precompiled SQL queries. Those are the different examples. So next topic is callable statement and transactions. So this is the third variation of the normal statement interface. There exist three kinds of statement interfaces. First one is normal statement, second one is prepared statement, the third one is callable statement. Callable statement is used to execute the procedures that are there in your database. You have to execute stored procedures that are there in your database. You'll be using the callable statement. You know what is a procedure? A procedure means you can have a set of SQL statements under a one procedure, and if you execute that procedure, all those set of statements will be executed. A procedure comprises of set of SQL statements that will be grouped into one procedure or function. So when you want to execute such stored procedures, you will be using the callable statement. So a callable statement is used to call the stored procedure from the JDBC program. From the JDBC program, if you want to call and execute a stored procedure, you will be using callable statement. So when the stored procedure, for example, to a procedure, you can pass some input parameters, and if the procedure returns any output, you can return the data. See, for example, I want to retrieve the email ID of a particular student. So the input to that procedure can be his roll number, and the output will be the name of the student or email ID of the student, like that. That data can be again captured in your program. So this is the syntax to call a stored procedure. Stored procedure can be called by using, again the stored procedure can be passed as a part of connection object. So con.prepare call of, this is the syntax. Call space, here the procedure name is add item, like that. So whenever if you return any data from the procedure, the data need to be registered in your program using register out parameter. Register out parameter indicates what data is retrieved from the stored procedure to your program. So register of parameter. It is used to register the parameters that are retrieved as a part of the result. Whenever you execute a procedure, if procedure returns some data, that data can be stored or need to be registered using register out parameter. So first one is you need to create a callable statement using connections con.prepare call. To con.prepare call, you'll be calling the procedure using call method. Con.prepare call of, you'll be calling the procedure name. Next, you need to set the values. For example, you want to pass some values to the procedure from the Java program. You can call them by using, you need to pass the input parameters by using the set methods. Set some values. So placeholder, same placeholders will be there from 1, so on. Next, you need to execute the procedure. After executing the procedure, if you get any output, that output can be retrieved by using get methods. So you need to pass input to the procedure. After this input is passed to the procedure, for example, I'll be passing roll number to the procedure. You can execute the procedure. What procedure does is it retrieves the name of the student or email ID of the student whose roll number matches with passed value, and his name or roll number can be printed using get methods. So set to input values. So you have to register the output parameters using cs.register out parameter like that. So first I need to create a stored procedure. So how will you create a stored procedure means, so to create a procedure, the syntax is create or replace procedure P1 is, this is the syntax to create a procedure. Create or replace procedure space procedure name is begin. For example, sorry, I want to supply some parameters. See, if I use ed, it will return the data in buffer. I can save it here. Create or replace procedure P1. For example, I want to pass number as a input. That is, I'll pass the student's roll number as an input. In indicates the parameter, this number is input to the procedure, and I want to retrieve the, for example, consider I want to retrieve the email. It is output, it is of type varchar. So create or replace procedure name. What is the input to the procedure? For example, number. I will be passing the student's roll number, and output is email ID. It is of type varchar. Is begin. For example, I want to retrieve the email ID. So whenever I want to retrieve, the command is select. What is the field name for email ID? Email ID field name is email ID. Select email ID into the email ID must be selected into this variable email. Select email into email from students table where roll number equal to number. So this is the query. Select email ID that is from students table. Select email ID into this email which is output from this procedure from students table where student's roll number matches with the number, where NO is the input. Next, end semicolon. This is, I'll create a procedure. So I'll close the procedure and I'll execute. So it is saying procedure created. So procedure with the name P1 is created. Now I can use that procedure P1 in my program. So whenever I want to use procedure in my program, you have to use callable statement. See, callable statement, it is used to execute or call the stored procedure that are there in the database. Callable statement, some object equal to con.prepare call as given in the slide. So to call a procedure, this is the syntax within double quotations, curly brace, call space. Procedure name is P1. It has two parameters. First parameter acts as input. Second parameter acts as output. See, in my procedure, first parameter is input. Second parameter is output. That is, input is number. That is, input is student's roll number. Output is his email ID. So whatever is the output, that output need to be registered in my program to indicate what type it returns. For example, what the data returns, the output is the email ID that is in the placeholder 2. So I have to register that output parameter. cs dot register out parameter of 2 comma types dot varchar. So if the procedure returns an integer, you have to use types dot integer. So you have to register what type of data is returned by the procedure. So since it returns varchar, you have to use register out parameter. Register out parameter is used to indicate if procedure returns any value, what is the data of that value, what is the data type. So output is received by placeholder 2. Second is the output. Second is the output. If output is there in 1, you have to use 1 comma. So 2 comma types dot varchar. So second, the output is retrieved in the second placeholder. It is of type varchar. You have to register that output parameter. Similarly, you have to set the value of first parameter. First parameter is roll number, which is integer. So cs dot set into 1 comma 1212. So 1212 indicates, for example, in my table, what is 1212? 1212 is, for example, Venu. It will retrieve the email venu@gmail.com. That is must be the output. So cs dot set into 1 comma 1212. Now I'll execute the procedure. After executing, now what is there in this output placeholder? The name. So system.out.println email ID it contains. So email ID is cs dot get string of 2. Output is there in second one. So cs dot get string of 2. So I'll save this program. I'll execute. So it is giving email ID is venu@gmail.com. For example, I want to retrieve the roll number of, I want to retrieve the email ID of 1214, which is abc@gmail.com. You can compile the program. So it retrieves abc123@gmail.com. See, abc123@gmail.com, like that. So simple. To call the stored procedures that are there in your database, you will be using prepared statement. Prepared statement is used to call procedures that are there in the database. I gave you the syntax to create the procedure. If procedure returns any output, you need to register the output parameters. If it doesn't return anything, directly you can execute. You can pass input, you can pass output. If the procedure returns anything, for example, after executing the procedure, it returns the roll number, which is of type varchar. So you have to register that output using types.varchar. If it is number, types.integer, that is given in the slide. See, that is what given in the slide. If it is returns, you have to register the output parameter. 2.types.integer indicates the procedure returns integer. But here I am returning varchar, hence 2 comma types.varchar. Execute it. After executing, the results will be written and it can be printed. These are the steps to execute the stored procedure. See, same thing. First, I have set the parameter. I have executed it. After executing, I am getting the results using get string of whichever placeholder index. Now output is there in 2, so I gave value of 2. So this is regarding the callable statement. So final thing is transactions. What is a transaction? You know, a transaction is nothing but a set of SQL statements. By default, all the transactions that you will be writing in your Java application will be auto committed. By default, JDBC drivers new connections are in auto commit mode. If you want to turn off auto commit, you can use set auto commit of false. If you want to commit a transaction, con.commit. If you don't use set auto commit of false, all the SQL statements will be committed automatically. If you want to roll back, you can't do. So if you want to roll back any transactions, first you need to set auto commit of false. If you want to commit a transaction, you can use con.commit. If you want to roll back, you can use con.rollback. Con.rollback can be called only if you set auto commit to false. After all, if your transactions are over, you can again set auto commit of true. So in JDBC, all the transactions are managed based on the connection object. By default, all the transactions will be automatically committed. If you want to turn it off, you have to turn it off using set auto commit of false. So rollback drops all the changes since the previous commit. So if you want to perform this rollback, you have to use set auto commit of false. So this is a summary of the JDBC classes. So we have seen driver manager. It is used to load database specific driver, registering a driver, next establishing a connection with the database, issuing the SQL statements, and retrieving the results. So if you want to have some additional information regarding the database, you can use database metadata. If you want to have some additional information regarding the result set, you can use result set metadata. So with this, so these are the JDBC classes that we have discussed. Driver manager, connection. So we have used driver manager, connection, and statement. All these we have studied. Result set, database metadata, and result set metadata. All these are the interfaces available in Java.SQL package. Driver manager is a class available in Java.SQL package. Remaining all are interfaces: connection, statement, result set metadata, and database metadata. With this, the JDBC topic is over. Thank you.